Thank you, and I thank the chair for allowing me to waive one to this committee hearing today. I was pleased to see the FTC launch an inquiry to investigate the role of vertically integrated PBMs back in June of 2022. I will also state that as a state senator in my first year in state senate in Iowa, I actually did my first bill on PBMs and transparency and rebates. The rebate part did not get through. I recognize the value of PBMs, but I think that we've been remiss in the vertical integration. You may be familiar with the graphic that is there, and what this is showing is the document that you have in requesting requests to the 6 largest PBMs. They control over 90% of prescriptions filled in the U.S. today. When I started Congress just in 2021, it was 70%, then it's 80%, and now it is over 90%. The FTC's interim report, which was just released this morning, highlights several concerning trends in the PBM space, including how this extremely concentrated market continues to allow middlemen to squeeze independent pharmacies and patients, all at the expense of access and affordability. Independent pharmacies, as the report notes, are subject to unfair and arbitrary contracts, which continue to contribute to the closure of these vital providers. Mr. Bedoya, thank you for testifying before the subcommittee today. You stated in the interim report that dominant pharmacy benefit managers was stated in the report that they can hike the cost of drugs, including overcharging patients for cancer drugs, and that PBMs can squeeze independent pharmacies that many Americans, especially those in rural communities, depend on for essential care. And I've had several of those independent pharmacies recently close in my district. It is further noted that the FTC will continue to use all tools and authority to scrutinize dominant players across healthcare markets and ensure that Americans can access affordable healthcare. Do you believe vertical integration in healthcare has benefited patients?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your concern. I share your concern. Of course, in certain circumstances it has. What has jumped out to me from conversations with pharmacists across the country is how sometimes it backfires terribly. Let me give you 2 examples quickly, if I could. Met with a group of pharmacists from Louisiana. Hurricane came through. 2 parishes used to be served by roughly 24 pharmacists. Suddenly that was 5. 4 independents, 1 Walmart. People were walking into the independents with prescriptions for insulin and were being told, no, you have to go down the street to the chain pharmacy, which was under several feet of water. Another example, family walks in a pharmacy, West Virginia, prescription for cancer medicine for their child. Pharmacist is told, looks at their screen, says, sorry, you have to go home. The PBM is telling you have to go home and wait for your child's medicine
to be mailed.
In the mail. Thankfully, that pharmacist worked with the insurance commissioner. They figured it out, but sometimes steering hurts people horribly. And I know that's something that staff spoke about in the report and something that I'm keenly concerned with.
Do you believe it has lowered premiums, the cost of drugs, or the cost of care delivery?
That is a critical question. I would want to, that has economic stakes, and I'd want to, certainly I'm concerned that it has not, but you know, I need the support of staff to give you a firm answer.
In contrast to my experience in Iowa, where they had a year to be transparent with the data that we had requested, and it was just aggregate data on administrative fees, rebates, and administrative fees that were not passed on to the insurance companies, have PBMs and GPOs been complying with requests from the commission? And if not, what enforcement steps are you taking?
Page 1 of our interim report indicates that in many instances they have not fully complied, and I know this is of great concern to myself and something that we will be looking into.
Have you seen further consolidation in healthcare markets since launching the inquiry 2 years ago?
Certainly there have been attempts to consolidate. In my opening statement, I mentioned a couple of them. When those proposed mergers have threatened to raise prices on consumers, degrade services for them, FTC hasn't hesitated to step in.
Well, I know that we're all very concerned about this. As I said, PBMs have a role and a valuable role that they play in prescription drugs, but there also is a lack of transparency and opaqueness and a lack of responsiveness by the PBMs to questions we would both ask at the state level and the federal level. And I would encourage you to continue into that and then hopefully respond to the vertical integration that's causing increased prices and less access. Thank you. With that, I yield back.
Thank you, Chairman Bilirakis, and thank you to our witnesses.